Leading the Nightline tonight, Parti Pusaka Bumiputra Bersatu PBB Information Chief Dato' Sri KARIM Hamzah stresses that only Sarawak Premier Dato' Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunapeng has the authority to determine when the state election will be held. He says the prerogative to dissolve the Sarawak Legislative Assembly rests solely with the Premier, following remarks by Deputy Premier Dato' Ahmad Dr. Sim Kui Hian, who hinted at the possibility of a state election within the next 100 days.
The only person yang kemungkinan dapat memberitahu bila roughly tarikh ataupun pilihan raya diadakan adalah Yang Amat Berhormat Premier lah, kerana the prerogative and discretion is on him. Untuk bila hendak membubarkan Dewan Undangan Negeri.
Whether the election is held within 100 days, 200 days or even at the end of the year, he says all parties should be aware that the state election must be held in the near future. At the same time, he says the signs of an upcoming state election are becoming more apparent, citing the increased frequency of party programs and political activity in recent months.
So that's why the 100 days can also become a reality bagi saya, walaupun secara peribadi saya merasakan bahawa ia tidak akan berlaku dalam jangka masa 100 hari kalau untuk negeri Sarawak saja, kalau pandangan saya, tapi it can happen dan prerogative is on the Right Honourable Premier Sarawak.
Meanwhile, Karim says the proposed addition of 17 new seats in the Sarawak State Legislative Assembly may not be implemented in the upcoming state election due to time constraints and legal procedures that have yet to be finalized. According to him, the proposal was approved by the Sarawak State Legislative Assembly last year and is now awaiting approval from the federal government before it can be fully implemented.
Dan melihat keadaan masa sekarang agak lewat, because the next parliamentary session will be in July. Even if they were to table it up and get it endorsed, they have this process untuk persepadanan semula, perlu ada display to public and things like that, you know. Dan melihat keadaan itu, masanya mungkin tidak dapat dicapai.
At the same time, Karim expressed disappointment that the proposal to add 70 new Sarawak State Legislative Assembly seats is yet to be tabled in Parliament, despite receiving strong support at the state level. He says that even if Parliament approves the proposal, the redelineation process, which includes public exhibitions and various administrative procedures, is expected to take considerable time, raising concerns that it may not be completed before the next state election. As such, he expects the 17 new seats will most likely only come into effect in the subsequent Sarawak state election.
The Sarawak government is ramping up its investment in human capital through the Free Tertiary Education Scheme (FTES), an initiative aimed at widening access to higher education, while building a highly skilled, future-ready workforce to drive the state's economic transformation. So our Deputy Premier Dr. Ahmad Douglas Uga Amba says the initiative, spearheaded by the Sarawak Premier, is set to nurture talent, develop expertise in strategic fields, and prepare Sarawakians to meet the demands of a rapidly evolving economy. According to Uga, the scheme offers opportunities for students to pursue studies in strategic fields such as science, law and other disciplines, all critical to Sarawak's future growth.
Di mana kalau dia dapat masuk ke Sunburn, Curtin University, ICTS, UTS dan belajar sains, undang-undang dan beberapa subjek yang lain, mereka akan diberi free education. Ini rakyat telah pun mengetahui dan kita sebagai pemimpin kita mengatur program langkah yang tertentu untuk menentukan bahawa pelajar di luar bandar juga dapat peluang.
Uga stresses that the government is not only providing free access to higher education, but is also developing programs to ensure students, particularly those from rural communities, are not left behind in benefiting from the initiative. Thus, he also urged youth to seize the opportunities available by excelling in their studies and mastering emerging technologies to enhance their competitiveness in the future job market. Sarawak will soon have its first Special Needs Community Centre, SNCC, designed to provide comprehensive support for people with special needs through a range of services available under one roof. State Women, Early Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development Minister Dr. Sri Fatimah Abdullah says the 30 million ringgit project under the 13th Malaysia Plan will be built within the grounds of the Samarahan Rehabilitation Centre.
Dari segi konsep kompleks ini ialah ia akan dapat menawarkan perkhidmatan untuk orang iaitu our special needs individuals, people with disabilities daripada usia dini, usia awal sehinggalah kepada keperluan OKU yang tiada waris, do not have parents that passed away. Tiada orang yang hendak menjaga mereka, so there will be also facilities for them. Jadi at the beginning of the spectrum, we will have one-stop. It starts with a one-stop early intervention center. Maknanya bawah umur 7 tahun ada kemudahan untuk individu berkeperluan khas ini untuk disaring ataupun assess, diagnose.
In its initial phase, the SNCC will offer modular courses in information technology, sewing, culinary, pastry, as well as arts and crafts, tailored to the interests of each individual. To ease travel for participants from outside of Kuching and Samarahan, SNCC will also provide hostel accommodations. The centre will also be equipped with sports development facilities to nurture Sarawak's para-athletes. Fatima says the project tender is set to open in July, followed by the issuance of letter of award in November. Construction is expected to take approximately 20 months.
Welcome back. Pakatan Harapan PH is actively preparing its election machinery for the upcoming Johor and Negeri Sembilan state elections, said Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. Anwar, who is also PH chairman, said all aspects of the coalition's election preparations would be mobilised optimally given the short notice on the dissolution of the state legislative assemblies in both states. Commenting on PKR's political bureau meeting yesterday, Anwar, who is also PKR president, said discussions centred primarily on developments relating to the polls in both states. Last Monday, Johor Menteri Besar Dr. On Hafiz Ghazi announced the dissolution of the 56-seat Johor State Legislative Assembly, effective June 1, paving the way for the state election to be held within 60 days. An agreement was brokered yesterday in Washington aimed to pause the 3-month-old war between Israel and Lebanon, but Hezbollah's chief has flatly rejected the terms. The diplomatic breakthrough in Washington promised pilot zones where the Lebanese army would take exclusive control. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun called it the last chance for a durable peace. Hezbollah chief Naim Qassem called the direct talks a humiliation, demanding a full Israeli withdrawal first.
Qassem, in a message read by a presenter on Al-Manar TV, says that the deal between Israel and Lebanon amounts to surrender and defeat.
الإعلان هو خارطة طريق لإبادة قسم من الشعب اللبناني واستعباد الباقي. أن يكون المسار الأمني تحت شعار وقف إطلاق النار الوهمي، وتفسيره بأن يوقف حزب الله إطلاق النار وأن يترك المقاومون ساحة الجنوب، وفي ظل استمرار العدوان تحت الضغط العسكري، هو استسلام وهزيمة.
Israel's defense minister countered, saying ground operations will continue on. Meanwhile, the military expanded its combat zone, warning civilians not to cross the Zahrani River. Meanwhile, the human toll rose again today. Israel's Air Force struck a Lebanese village on Friday, following warnings for several areas of imminent attacks. Lebanon's state-run national news agency reported mass displacement from the 3 villages named in the warning. Overnight, Israeli strikes killed 7 people in the southern Lebanese city of Tyre. With both sides dug in and the death toll climbing, the diplomacy in Washington seems worlds away from the reality on the ground.
A highly active volcano in eastern Indonesia has erupted multiple times today, grounding flights and putting local communities on high alert. This latest eruption of Mount Lewodopi Laki-Laki on Flores Island sent a towering column of ash 2.5 kilometers into the sky.
The sudden activity forced authorities to shut down operations at a local airport 60 kilometers away, disrupting several domestic flights. A 5-kilometer exclusion zone is now tightly enforced around the crater. Officials are also warning residents near local rivers to watch out for lahar, hazardous mudflows of volcanic debris triggered by heavy rain. Indonesia sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, making it prone to frequent seismic activity. The volcano remains under the country's second highest alert level as scientists monitor for further activity. Last July, the roughly 1.6-kilometer high Lewodopi Laki-Laki spewed a colossal 18-kilometer tower of ash, forcing the cancellation of 24 flights at the international airport on the resort island of Bali.
Get all the updates you need all in one app as TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire, world on your screen, whenever, wherever. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Shilshima Tour. Thank you for watching and have a good night.